Good afternoon and happy Monday to my indie loves. It's been a minute. I just came on and just wanted to chit chat for a little bit. So that's kind of what today is about. And I know you probably saw my title to my indie loves, just conversations about friendships with all that's going on in the world. And I was just curious, like, how safe do you feel with your friends? What do you deem as a friend? You know, I do think that this is a conversation that should happen specifically with young adults, teenagers, those that's entering colleges. I think it's an important topic. And so for me, like, I have friends who I consider family, to the extent that I've known them for years upon years upon years. They know my family, I know them. We've always lived or yeah, from that cloth of we go together, we come back together. Whoever you leave with, you come with. That's like a saying in most, I would say, most of my friends, anyways, household. That's kind of how we roll. And we got to know the people that you associate with, even if it's even dating. Like, that's just something that we as women anyways would do, and men, because it's like if you're a part of the friend group, you want to know who the person is, even before just going out. And I just think with this time, a lot of the cases that's going on, I know you kind of saw, again, my title is in XW, in just as a rest in peace to that young man's family. I'm sure everybody knows whom I'm referring to and who the initials belongs to. But it's just like, I don't know. That particular incident, and amongst a lot of the other incidents that's happened with the young adults, kind of like touch my heart. It makes you think about your family and your friends. So for me, that was just a question that I have. Like, how safe do you really feel with your friends? You know? These are conversations I think that are important. Can you relax around your friends? Can you share your ideas and opinions and true thoughts without feeling judged? You know? Can you be vulnerable with them? I hope that I provide that, even that space here, that if, anyone that comes through this channel wants to chit chat, feels open and safe enough to share stories of friendships and, you know, your experience with it. For me, I can be honest. I can be vulnerable without feeling judgment. I do feel safe. And that's a blessing because not a lot of people have that. But I do think that that is an important conversation to have. So, I mean, hello to anyone who's surfing through. Because this particular time, I just, like I said, I just wanted to ask the question and just see who's willing to have conversations about it. And for me, I guess it touches home because not only because I have nieces and nephews, but just working in early education from pre-K straight through high school, you are surrounded by youth. And there are a lot of questions and a lot of things you may see that they're unaware of. So how often do you even have the conversations with them? I do often. Every time, like, there's a case, or if it's things that happen in my presence, like, I'm going to at least have a conversation, especially if they're open to listen. And I hope that more people do that despite what's going on, but definitely in light to what's going on. We'll have these kind of conversations with young adults, because it's important and it can make a difference, truly make a difference. So I'm not sure if anybody's here in the chat. You know me, look, and I always have a song attached to it. Like just the title alone made me think about TLC. They had a song, What About Your Friends? When they stand around, will they let you down? Yeah. Like there was just questions and stuff that the songs I feel like asked. And it could lead to, you to examine just things for yourself. I can actually say when the social media era took became like this avenue for people to communicate. Um, I know a lot of relationships were like or connections happen, but I'm like, are these people? Can you actually say they're truly your friends? Like everybody wants to be liked, you know, and are willing to do a lot of things just for those likes and friends, quote unquote, follow me and all of those things. But I do think that there is a piece that's lost with that. Like you still should have those conversations. And again, what do you deem as a friend? Like to just follow someone because of something that they may say, how much do you really know about the person? And so, like I said, these kind of situations that happen in the world and these kind of, just being around teens and young adults and just seeing how they move and think, I do think that there is an avenue for conversations. And like I said, people are willing to listen. So I'm always like, if you can reach out and just talk to someone, do that, you know? It's just kind of the mode I'm in right now. So again, I'm not sure who's here. Drop a hello in the chat. Let me know where you're from and what's your, opinions on friendships. Do you feel safe with the people that you deem as friends? How long have you been friends? Like, do you have a story that you would like to share? Again, I can say for myself, like I call them like day ones because I grew up with a lot of my friends. And then it was people that I've met along my journey of life as far as work or just when you build those connections and it goes beyond maybe how you met and it's continued for years where again, I can be vulnerable with my friends. I can share wants, desires. I can, share whatever I'm going with, highs and lows as far as my personal life, as far as careers, and I don't feel judged. And I do feel like if I needed help or if they needed help, that I'm there for them. So I just was curious to know, do you feel the same way? How are your relationships? Today I don't know, I guess I'm like more in a somber type of feeling. Um, I did watch some of the funeral today for the young man that's, they're still trying to figure out what happened to him in Mississippi. And I just felt like it's so sad that these, people are children. They're still children. 18 is still a child. There's so much in life. You have to learn so much about yourself you don't even know yet. And it's just like a sad, sad thing. So I don't know. This was just on my mind, and I felt like coming on and just talking about it. If people are willing to have the conversation. And shout out, not like anybody will see this in the huge avenue as far as videos and things of that nature, but I thought it was so nice that Reverend Al Sharpton and Tyler Perry, both of them alone, are donating $50,000 for anybody that has information on that particular case. And that I think that that's beautiful that they're putting their money where their mouth is and like, trying to seek justice, whatever that means. And for Colin Kaepernick, I thought that's beautiful to just donate to do an independent autopsy. I just think these kind of things is beautiful. It's not showing hate. It's not saying that going into details about race and all that. I'm not going there. For me, my whole point of bringing that up was this. I was touched today. And again, I just had questions about, do you feel safe around your friends? And just the whole conversation of friendship. What is it to you? What does it mean to you? Are there times that you have friends and you don't feel safe? What is that? How does that show up in your life? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells, or, you know, just I'm just curious, what kind of friendships do you have? Are you a people pleaser? Why do you think you are a people pleaser if you are? Like, I just have questions. But again, today was just more or less just sharing, and I do hope that people do take a moment to talk to the teens and really you know, get to know what they're into, get to know how they interact with their peer group, because that's a major thing. And I also look at my nieces and nephews. So the things that I say to like the regular students, I say it to my own family. I have quite a few that's entering college this year, and it's like you want to just put a wall of protection all around them, but you know that you can't. I think back when I was in college, like that's when I lived, learned, and learned about friendships really, because you're on your own at that point. Nobody's like facilitating anything. So you go through trials and errors. You're meeting people from different walks of life, different parts of the country, depending on the universities or colleges you go to. So it's like, to me, I think that that was a major conversation. And I do hope that people, just people in general, are talking to the young adults. You never know what you may say that could ignite that type of thought to, I don't know, bring something to that they were unaware of and change their whole trajectory of what friendships are in different situations that they may be in. So that's just the mode I'm on. So is there anyone in and want to say hi? Drop something in the chat. Let me know where you're from and what your thoughts on the topic is. Hmm. Thing is, I can't goes into the chat. So let me know if you're here and what your thoughts are on this Monday. Mundane Monday. Malachi Monday? I don't know. Mm-mm. Or I could just let the video ride out. But again, oh, and thanks to whoever put the likes. At least I know that someone heard what I was saying. But that's just kind of my mood, you know? No, I'm not gonna actually go while I'm live, but I kind of just wanted to talk, so I didn't want to, you know, be all in the frame of this here video. But again, this is just on my mind. A little sadness. And you know what's crazy? Again, I have nieces and nephews who will enter college. I don't remember going this early, but next month. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many conversations that I want to have with you guys, even though I do this all the time. But it's like right before you want to just see them off in like a real manner, letting them know, like, things are gonna happen. You're gonna, you're gonna live. You're gonna explore. You're gonna do blah blah blah. But again, just stick to all the wisdom that was instilled in you as you go out into the world. And I know that's so hard. I think that was for me why um, I always had a fear, like with if I had children, because you can't protect them from the world. The world that you create within your home, yes, is sacred, and you have somewhat of a control over it. But once you set them free and into the world, there's nothing you can do. I know that sounds so crazy, but that's always been my mindset. And I feel that way, like I said, with my siblings' children. That's the kind of pain and hurt you feel because you're like, oh, I want them to do this or be this in life, speaking on their children. And just me being, I feel like on the outside, because again, I don't have them personally as far as children, but to see maybe choices or things that might have, you know, um, examples of things that happen that you hoped wouldn't happen, but there's nothing you can do because they're young. They gotta see the world for themselves and make their mistakes. But I do hope that some mistakes, some conversations can prevent some of these um, traps that can happen. Just being aware, not everybody is good for you, or good to you. Some people have hidden agendas. Some people's heart is not as pure as yours. And I think that was for me, my naivety, because I was very naive. When I left my parents' house, they kept me so sheltered that, I always thought, oh, everybody's good or like so naive. Like I was one of those. Like, my heart is pure. So you think, oh, everybody's pure. Oh, that's innocent. And then you learn, like, oh, no, they're not. Like, so, yeah. I think the difference now is a lot of the things that's happening to the young adults, excuse me, is not hidden anymore. Like, I can say, at least for me, I think that a lot of things that were happening, and because a lot of things did happen back in the day and stuff, but I think it was more hidden than as versus now. Now everything is like right in your face. Even some of the traps, you could kind of see some of it. Some of the you could kind of see it if you pay attention to the details and that type of things a little bit. But again, I just hope that with again a lot of these cases that's happening to young adults, that's where they're losing their lives or missing and things of those nature, that it just invoke conversations, especially if it's surrounding friends and friendships, that it'll more people will talk to them and like get to know the people that they call friends or deem associates that they hang with. I'm speaking on young adults specifically. So I guess that's my rant for today. For anyone who comes across my channel, hopefully you find something in the conversation or the things that I'm saying, and it kind of ignites something or invokes something within you to just kind of like talk to the younger generation, because each one can teach one, and we should all be a village to each other. So you know me, I'm always, not all the time, where just be kind to each other, because I do think that that's missing in some instances. Like, you should be kind to one another. It's just how I am. So on that note, and since no one has came into the chat, I mean, I'll give it, I guess, a couple of minutes because maybe it's kind of early. But I did just wanted to come on and say that. What about your friends? Will they let you down? Will they be around? Hey, I don't know. And again, hello to everyone that kind of popped in, because at least I can see the numbers of those that do. And no, today I'm not at the shore today. I will be back there because I love it. That's my happy place. And I love sharing those kind of videos too, some peace and some serenity. So hopefully, like I said, for anyone that comes through, you feel that in my or on my channel. So again, I guess I'll give it a couple more minutes, and if no one comes through, I will leave the video and let it do whatever it is. Or even if it does nothing. But I do think people do go back sometimes and look. So that's all I was saying. So on that note, happy Monday, and I hope everyone has a great week. And again, if you are anywhere near young adults, specifically 18 and up, who's about to go to the university or colleges or just out into the world, like they graduated from high school, I do hope that you have some kind of conversations just to see their mindset and, see what they're going through. So, on that note, have a good one, Indie Loves. Later.